Hey everyone, and take a look at the new Player of the Week pack on eFootball. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if you want to hear about particular players, click in the description and I'll be able to take you straight to them. So, I've got a bunch of 93s. Start with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So, we've just had a Showtime version of this guy. If you're grinding divisions to get the top, whatever it was, top 100,000, top million, I don't know. So yeah, this is a good version of Aubameyang. He's got a booster, we'll activate that booster straight away. He's got his face scan, of course, as well. Inconsistent form and no league challenge because he plays in the French league, so that's a bit of a couple of slight disappointments there already, but it's a pretty good version of him. When he's fully boosted, he's pretty similar to the recent Player of the Week version we had of him from when he's playing for Marseille. He's a bit better. The boost makes him a bit better than his Player of the Season card, actually, as well, that he had. That Showtime, that's probably the one most people are going to be wondering how it compares to that one. The Showtime is obviously better than this one, and I'm pretty sure it's got phenomenal finishing as well, if I'm not mistaken. But just look at the stats. Is there a massive difference when this one's on A form? Not massive, no. That is obviously a better card, though, overall. If you look at his other highlight cards, trainable cards, his best highlight card, as far as I can see, is one from when he was at Chelsea. This one's not quite as good when he's not on got his aim form boost, but when you get the boost, slightly better. So overall, pretty similar, not a massive difference either way. From his GP card, we lost a bunch of points. I think 6 points of his attacking awareness, but we at least get 3 of them back when he's on A form, which is awesome. Nice boost to his dribbling and tight possession. According to eFootball Hub, he's lost 30 points off set piece taking. I'm guessing that's an error on eFootball Hub. A little bit of a boost to his defending, excellent. Lost a few points of curl. Decent boost to his kicking power, balance and stamina. What's happening skill-wise? What's happening skill-wise is that we've gained heading, long-range shooting, one-touch pass, fighting spirit's new as well. What skills are missing from his GP card? Looks like scissors feint, knuckle shot, dipping shot, penalty specialist. Yeah, we can live without those, I think. So some nice additions there. It's a pretty good version of Aubameyang. You've got most of the important ones for striker. First time shot is obviously number one. Then we've got long range curler there. Accurate finishing and heading. Yeah, you got nice slashing skills on him. Some pretty nice stats when he's on A form. It's a pretty nice goal poacher. There's pace, awareness and finishing all looking pretty nice. Decent on the ball for a goal poacher. Not amazing, but decent. All 80 plus before your game plan boost. Not a great deal of balance there. Passing's not great, so yeah, a few areas maybe slightly lacking, but certainly on A form looking pretty decent. When he's not on A form, it's the striker's instinct booster, so it's some of the most important attributes for a striker, they get boosted. So when he's not got that A form boost, not amazing. It's kind of mid. Could definitely do a job for you when he's not on A form, but not quite as exciting. But certainly on A form looks pretty decent. But like I say, with the lack of a league challenge to use him in, albeit when we get the Champions League ones, you'll be able to use him in those because obviously Marseille are in the Champions League. But yeah, on the whole, slight lack of use for him outside of divisions and the occasional challenge. But it's a pretty good version of Aubameyang. If you like Aubameyang, it's a good version of him. Looks very usable, certainly very usable outside of divisions when he's on A form at least. So yeah, for a fair few people, it could be a pretty nice one to have. But if you got that Showtime version of him just recently from divisions, then you obviously won't need it. But it is a good version of Aubameyang. Next, we've got Sebastian Szymański from Fenerbahce and Poland, of course. So I love this guy in game. He's got dynamite in his left foot, got a face scan, whole player, normal playing style, but they've changed his position to SS. They made him fully proficient at SS. They made him semi-proficient as a centre forward, even though you can't position train him. They still keep doing that. Only had a couple of versions of this guy. So we had one that was a no-one-end contract not too long ago. I guess maybe 6 months ago, something like that. Maybe it was late last season. So that was a box-to-box. And overall, this one's a bit better. But the one thing that box-to-box no-one-end contract version had of this one is +6 on low pass. So depending where you want to use him, you might prefer that version, you might prefer this one. That nominate contract, the box to box one, I think is better as a centre mid, probably an attacking mid, just for the fact his low pass is quite a bit better. But you've got a bit more in other areas on this one. So I think ultimately the box to box nominate contract one maybe is better in the middle of the park, whereas in attacking positions you might prefer this one. We also had a trainable one. We've had a highlight card from a Turkish League pack that was ages ago now. I would guess maybe it's a year and a half, 2 years ago. I've got that one. I love it. I've got it position trained, skill trained. One of my favourite cards to use. Outside of obviously the kind of top level, kind of, you know, the beefy legend cards and so on. But it's a really fun card. Like I say, I love getting shots away on his left foot. That highlight card from a Turkish League pack is pretty similar overall to this one, really. But we got a bit more on the lower body stats on this one. got a bunch more on set pieces as well. Like obviously because he scored from a corner. But the one thing that one from the league pack's got is a bit more tight possession. He's got a really nice tight possession, but overall pretty similar. If you retrain that highlight card to try and make him about the same as this one, pretty similar to be honest. You can get him pretty close, not a great difference. You don't have SS fully proficient on that highlight card, but you can train it. I've trained mine for SS and for right midfield. And obviously you can train skill wise. We've got some different skills in this, and I changed a few skills. They've given him the biggest boost, unsurprisingly, on set pieces. Nice boost on his set piece ability from his GP card. There's a bit on his lofted pass, finishing, defending, of course, pace and kicking power. Physical contact's had a bit of a boost. But yeah, looking at the skills, few changes here, a whole bunch actually. So we've lost Scotch move, knuckle shot, I think, dipping shot as well. Low lofted pass, bit of a shame, and gamesmanship, but we've gained soul control, long range curler, through passing, pinpoint crossing is new, and fighting spirit. So I think on the whole that's a really nice trade. They've really beefed up his skills there quite a bit. I think he's got a really nice selection of skills there. Long range curler, a nice one if you're going to play him on the right hand side or through the middle, of course. He's got through passing, obviously a nice addition there. Pinpoint crossing, as well as increasing his lofted pass a bit. He's not going to have an amazing cross. Lofted pass at 83 is not going to be amazing either with pinpoint crossing, but he's got great curl and kicking power. So yeah, on the whole, I think his crossing will be pretty decent. He's pretty nice on the ball. Decent pace. He's not amazing in every area. There's a few attributes I'd like to be a bit higher. Stamina 82 on a whole plan, not brilliant. He will get tired. Balance will be a bit higher, but he's got some nice qualities. This guy, certainly from set pieces, he's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a question of where you use him. As I touched on, that low pass there, only 80. I wouldn't touch centre midfield or attacking midfield with his low pass being as low as that, even though they've added through passing. I think you're going to look at this guy as mainly an SS or playing wide right if you want to get the most out of him. He's not got electric pace playing up wide, but he's quick enough, I think, and he's certainly looks tidy enough on the ball. And cutting inside onto his left foot, he is a lefty, so if you cut inside from the right wing onto his left foot with long range curler there, finishing is reasonable at 77. Kicking power is nice, like I say. He's always seems to strike it really nicely with his left foot. I don't know if that's a player ID thing, probably just placebo, but yeah, I think coming off that right wing could be decent. Looking at the playing style, whole player will be active all three of those central positions there, but he won't be active right wing forward. So if you're going to play him wide right, he's either a right wing forward without an active playing style, or what you could do, you could just play him wide right but set him to SS, and that will make the whole player playing style active wide right as an SS. So you could do that. That's what I do. I've done that in the past with players. It's always worked pretty nicely for me. So yeah, I think just behind the attack, maybe if you're careful with the passing, could be pretty handy there. Wide right could be decent, cutting inside into his left foot. There are a few stats I'd like to be a bit higher. I'm struggling a little bit not to be biased here, because he's just one of those players. We've all got a few players in this game that we just really enjoy using, and he's one for me. If I'm going to try and be completely unbiased and brutally honest, the lack of league challenge, because most of us don't get to do the Turkish league challenge. Ball control could be a bit higher. Speed, certainly if you're going to play him out wide, could be a bit higher. And that passing, if you want to play him through the middle, that does hold him back a bit. So yeah, in a few areas, and balance as well. In a few areas, maybe he's not quite as good as he could be, but like I say, I've enjoyed him in the past. They really beefed his skills up. Especially if you get that Turkish league challenge still, it could be a really fun card to pick up. Outside of that, maybe it's not going to be for everyone. Like I say, a few things could be a little bit better there, but I think on the whole, it could be a fun one. A couple of ways you could use him, and if you do pick him up and you're not sure about him, give him a try, because you might find him enjoy him as well. So yeah, not for everyone, but for some people, it could be a pretty nice card. And here's our goalie. We've got Stolar Dimitrievski, plays for Valencia these days. So we've got a face guy. He's a defensive goalkeeper, 6'2", reasonable height. His arm coverage is about 170, which is not amazing. It's not disastrously bad, but yeah, goalkeeper reach 86, 170 arm coverage. I would say the reach is a slight issue there. Awareness is well, everything else is looking good, to be fair though. Awareness, catching, parrying, reflex is all going to be over hitting 90 plus with your game plan boost. Reflex is already over 90. It's got unwavering form. You can use him in the Spanish League Challenge. High punt accuracy, lack of low punt, and arguably long throw could be a bit of a disappointment for some people. So yeah, slight question mark over the reach there. No low punt. Not going to be for everyone, this keeper, but I think it's one of these keepers where he's not amazing, but he can certainly do a job for you. If you don't have many good goalie options for the Spanish League Challenge, he could certainly come in and do a job for you there. Outside of the slight concern over reach, like I say, all the other goalie stats are looking strong there. He's got unwavering form as well, so Yeah, on the whole, I think it's just another goalie where he's not amazing. The slight issue with the coverage there, a lot of people would say that the lack of low points a bit of a disappointment as well. I'm not a big fan of defensive keepers even myself, so 1 or 2 slight concerns with this guy, but I think there's plenty of positives there. You can't say he's elite without better coverage of his goal, but certainly the other goalie stats are looking pretty strong there. And as an option for your Spanish League challenge, maybe he's not a top level keeper, but certainly one that could come in and do a job for you in any given week. And next we've got Rúben Neves, box to box, normally an orchestrator, got a face scan, got a booster. What's the booster? Aggression, acceleration, and physical contact style. I have no idea what that is. Hard worker. Okay, he's a hard worker. So yeah, interesting. They've announced today that players in the Saudi League are now going to get live update, but where's his Saudi club? Well, he's not got a club affiliation for some reason. So is he going to get live update from Saudi League games or not? I don't know. Someone explain. I don't know. Anyways, he's now box to box. Most of Neves' highlight cards are around about the same level as this version, either as a DMF or as a CMF, depending how you train them. This one's pretty much on a par in both positions, really, overall. But generally speaking, when you compare it to his better highlight cards, we've got a bit more pace defending physical contact on this one, but not quite so much down the left with some of those technicals compared to some of those highlight cards. But on the whole, comparing to his highlight cards, bearing in mind he's looking good enough down the left. The boost he's had in a bunch of other areas is looking pretty strong, this card. Compared to the GP card, nice boost to his pace and athleticism really down the right hand side. Bit of attack awareness and a bit more on the ball, finishing, set pieces. Slight nerf to his passing, but he's still going to be bang on the 90 mark with your game plan boost. So yeah, on the whole, pretty decent boost. It looks like a pretty nice, well-rounded midfield card. This what they've done skill-wise. Okay, we've had a nice boost here as well. So we have lost a few. We've lost knuckle shot, dipping shot, low lofted pass. Bit of a shame to lose that. Certainly on a player like Neves. Penalty specialist and captaincy, but we've gained heading. Okay, not the most important one, but first time shot, one touch pass and through passing. One touch and through on Neves. He's got really good passing statistically, but he doesn't always have those skills. So one touch and through, really big additions on Neves, really maxing out his passing. And then interception as well. So some really nice additions there. It would be nice if we had maybe his fighting spirit, but on the whole, for a box-to-box midfielder, we've got a really nice selection of skills there now. Some passing, some shooting, and then at least the interception, if nothing else, defensively. His defensive stats are decent though. He's okay on the ball. His passing is nice. He's not got amazing attack awareness, but higher than it normally is. And likewise with the pace, he's not got a great deal of pace, but more than he normally does. Great kicking power behind his shots. A little bit of physical strength. Balance is reasonable, could be better. Stamina's nice. Yeah, unwavering form as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know if this particular version of Neves is going to get live update, because they've said that players in the Saudi League can get live update now, but this doesn't look like a Saudi League card because his club's not there for some reason. I don't know why, but certainly statistically, the fact he's got unwavering form, that will compensate to some extent for a lack of live update if he doesn't get it. But no league challenge though, that is a downside. You can use him in the national team challenge, but that's about it. Otherwise it's just divisions, but it's a strong card. I've got the Showtime one from it was in the penalty game, wasn't it? I think a lot of us would have got that one. That's a really nice version of him. I've put some skills on it, but this one's not too far off, I don't think, compared to the Showtime one. I mean, the Showtime one's a little bit better overall, but yeah, not a lot of difference really. So if you don't have that Showtime one, if you don't have one of the better highlight versions of Neves, certainly if you like the box-to-box playing style compared to his normal one of Orchestrator, yeah, there's a lot to be said for this one. But yeah, even though statistically good skills and all the rest, no league challenge, so that will go against him. And if we're not going to get live update from the Saudi League, which apparently we're not, even though we supposedly were going to. I'm confused by that, as you've probably guessed by now. But yeah, one or two concerns with this guy, but it's a good version of Neves. And if you are going to use him at any point in any mode, then just looking at the stats and everything, the skills, very solid player. As a DMF in some kind of double pivot could be very effective. As a centre mid, getting up and down the pitch, doing a bit of everything, could be a very handy card to pick up. It's a good solid midfield card, that. And next we have Robin Lenormand from Spain. Plays for Athletic Madrid these days. Got a face scan, destroyer, centre back, his usual playing style. Unwavering form, and you can use him in the Spanish League challenge. It's the first time I've had a trending version of Le Normand, but we've had a bunch of highlights. I've got the very first highlight, actually, the very first Real Sociedad pack they did. I've got a card from that pack of Le Normand. It still holds up, to be honest, in most areas, just he's a bit slow now. Most of his highlights are pretty similar overall, to be honest, to this one. But they tend to have a little bit more on defending and not quite as much pace as this one. That's the key difference. Pace has obviously been boosted from his GP guy. He's got a pretty straightforward player of the week centre-back boost, really. Boosted his pace, his stamina and his passing. And they've taken 2 points away from heading and jumping. So yeah, it's a very standard player of the week centre-back, really. What they've done skill-wise, one-touch pass, through passing and weighted pass. So they've just added those, really. He's got pretty much a complete set of defensive skills. He's not got heading, interestingly. His heading is not amazing, and they've taken a couple of points away. I don't think that's going to be a major concern, but yeah, he's lacking the heading skill. Apart from that, though, man marking, search and blocker. He's got aerial superiority, so he can at least win the headers in the first place. Sliding acrobatic price spirit, yeah. So he's got everything he really needs defensively. But they've thrown in one-touch pass, through passing and weighted pass. His passing stats aren't amazing, but they're pretty reasonable for a centre-back. Defensive stats, pretty solid. Not amazing, but pretty solid. Pace is decent enough. Yeah, it's just looking like a solid, decent enough centre-back overall, to be honest. I think if you go back about a year or so, you'd say it's a pretty nice centre-back. At this point, maybe he's not quite so exciting, but he can still do a job. I'd like a little bit more on one or two attributes. I'd like a little bit more on his physical strength and his aerial ability. But ultimately, good selection skills with the bonuses and passing skills being thrown in there. And yeah, you can definitely do a job. I think it's probably one where for most people it could be a good option for the Spanish League Challenge. If you don't have too many centre-back options for the Spanish League Challenge, in general, he could certainly do a job for you in just about any mode. But he's not amazing, like I say. The way centre-backs have gone in terms of the power creep over the past year or so, I think you'd probably want a little bit more than this guy to be getting your strongest squad if you've been playing the game for long enough, if you've got enough options. But certainly, for any given mode, like especially the Spanish League Challenge, if you're lacking centre-backs in any given week and he's got form, he's got high enough stats he could do a job for you. He's certainly not a bad centre-back card, just not the most exciting one, but he's solid, good skills. He could do a job for most people, I think. Next we have another Kenan Yıldız Player of the Week card. He's had a bunch already. So we've got a face scan, the whole player left midfielder. They've added left midfield. And his booster is ball control. Shooting, isn't it? And shooting, yes. So we've got the shooting booster. And left midfield is a new position. He's normally an SS. They've added left midfield, switching to a left midfielder from his GP card. It's pretty similar to his best Player of the Week cards, actually. Yıldız. We've had a few. There's at least one that can be a left midfielder. They can't all play left midfield though. The passing's not great on this one. It's been better on some of his other Player of the Week cards. That's the one downside with this card. It's not great at passing. Interesting, they moved him back from SS to a midfield position, made his pass and not made his passing better than that. But yeah, passing is the one concern really. But overall, they're pretty similar to his best Player of the Week cards. They do shuffle the stats around from one to the next, obviously. Outside of his Showtime card, his best highlight card is it's actually the one in the Italian League pack that's currently out. I'm pretty sure that's still available for another few weeks or something. Pretty similar overall, that highlight card, to be honest. If anything, I'd probably take that highlight card over this one just because of the fact that you can train it, really. But yeah, outside of that, it's just a Showtime that's a bit better. But and then you've got a bunch of Player of the Week cards, which might have a slightly different profile that suits you better, possibly. But yeah, ultimately, it's a good version of Yıldız. This stacks up pretty well compared to other versions of him. From his GP card, they boosted his finishing, his kicking power, a bit more physical contact, bit of speed, and defending, of course. And yeah, it's a nice version, nice on the ball, got a nice amount of pace there, good kicking power behind his shots, and his finishing actually is decent. It's clearly going to be more about scoring goals than creating them. I think as a left midfielder, he's looking pretty tidy, or left wing forward without another playing style. But again, as I said with Szymański, if you're going to play him as a wide left forward, I personally would make him an SS out wide. I wouldn't play him without the playing style there, when you can make him an SS out wide and have the whole player playing style active. I don't think he's got the awareness or finishing to play centre forward. I definitely don't think he's got the passing to play AMF. I'm not sure he's got the passing to play SS, to be honest, just behind the attack, but certainly off the left wing, whether it's a left wing forward or like I say, an SS whole player out wide, or as a left midfielder with a whole player playing style, cutting his side into his right foot to get 1 or 2 goals for you. Looks like he's pretty tidy, to be honest. What have they done skill-wise with him? So we've lost scissors feint, dipping shot, and again they've taken acrobatic finishing away. They've taken it away from quite a lot of forwards lately, or attacking players. That's a bit annoying, but we've gained double touch, long range shooting, outside curls, a nice one to have. Is he 2-footed? Ish. outside curse, still a nice one to have though. And fighting spirit, of course, everyone gets that. And he is, of course, a super sub, as he always is. But yeah, he got long range curler and long range shooting to get those shots away. Through passing will just help to make his passing a bit less terrible. Pinpoint crossing, I mean, likewise, he's not going to have a good cross on him regardless, really. But certainly with his shooting, a couple of shooting skills there. He's a super sub. Yeah, looking pretty nice overall. Even without the A-form boost, he's looking pretty tidy, but the A-form boost does boost a few of the stats even more. So, yeah, is it the best Yıldız card? Probably not. Certainly the Shota one's a bit better, and there's been a bunch of other ones you could argue are as good, maybe one or two slightly better, depending on what's important to you. For example, the passing, but as an option primarily off the left wing, cutting onto his right foot and scoring goals rather than creating them, does look pretty handy. If you don't have a good Yıldız card, he is a good one to have. It's a good version of him, some good skills, good stats. Of course, you can use them in the Italian League Challenge. So yeah, it's another good Yıldız card. If you don't have one already, it could be a handy one to pick up. For me personally, I've got a good one already, so I'm not overly keen to get it, but I'll certainly give him a try, see how it compares to mine if I get him. It's a solid card on the whole. And Marc Guéhi's next. It's the second time I've had a player version of Guéhi, and it's the second time they're changing from extra frontman to build up. He's got a booster which boosts his defending and passing. What's that? Rebuilding. Okay, he's got the rebuilding booster. Okay, so yeah, looking like another decent centre back card. This he's got his face scan, of course, before I forget. Unwavering form, pretty two-footed. Can use me in the sheet challenge. Yeah, looking like a pretty strong card. This weaker for accuracy's up one. Actually, I've increased that. He's pretty similar overall to his previous Player of the Week card, but I would say, if anything, even though the overall rating looks about the same, I think this one looks a bit better than his previous Player of the Week card. It's certainly the defensive engagement is a good few points better on this one. So yeah, it's looking like a good version of Guéhi. In terms of trainable cards, we've had 3 highlight cards, I think, of him, all extra frontman. Overall, pretty similar, to be honest. Just the stats kind of shuffled around here and there, obviously, each time. Compared to his GP card, we've actually lost a bunch off his defending, but we get some of those points back when he's on A form. That's generous. And they basically boosted his pace, his stamina, and his passing. So it's just another bog standard Player of the Week centre back boost, really. Slight boost to his physical contact and jumping as well. So at least I've not nerfed his jumping like they seem to do quite often these days. What have they done skill wise? One touch and through. Interesting. So like with the normal, we've got one touch pass and through passing. They've also added blocker. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, lacking heading, so very similar situation to Lenormand, to be honest. So we've got another centre back who's got pretty much all the defensive skills, just not heading, and he's got a couple of passing skills thrown in. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, one thing with Guéhi, you got to keep in mind, he's only 182. That's 5'11", jumping 83. Yes, he's got aerial superiority, but no heading. He's not got the best vertical reach, and his heading attribute as well is pretty bad at 74. I guess that's why they've not nerfed his heading. They didn't need to. So yeah, there's a big question mark over Guéhi's aerial ability. His physical contact's okay, but I'd like it to be a bit higher. Apart from that though, pace is decent, stamina's pretty good for a centre back. Defences are obviously great on A form. When he's not on A form, still pretty strong. Passing's pretty nice for a centre back. So there's a lot to be said for this card, but I think really for some people the physical contact will be a slight concern. And I think the aerial concern is going to be one that a lot of people have. There is a question mark over his aerial ability, but there's plenty of qualities as well. Unwavering form, can use me in the English League Challenge. A lot of qualities overall. It's a pretty strong centre back card, but like I say, one or two slight concerns there, especially the aerial ability, but plenty of positives as well. And on the whole, it's a strong centre back card. Next we have Granit Xhaka, orchestrated DMF, usual playing style. Change of position though, his GP card's a CMF, they change him to a DMF, doesn't make a lot of difference, just means he's got a slightly different profile really in terms of the stats of the GP card. He's got a face scan, of course. He's had a couple of Player of the Week cards, this one's slightly better, but that's mainly just from his pace. Outside of the pace, not a lot of difference really. His better highlight cards have better passing than this one does, but we've got a bit more attack awareness and finishing on this one compared to most of his highlight cards. A bit more defending, pace, physical contact. So yeah, he's looking like a strong version of Xhaka really. That's pretty much just the kind of story from his GP card really. It boosted his pace a bit on his defending and stuff, his dribbling as well from his GP card. So yeah, looking like a pretty strong version of Xhaka. You can use him in the English League Challenge because he plays for a team in the Premier League. He's got unwavering form as well. What they've done skill wise, they've taken away soul control. Interesting. I didn't realise he had that, but it looks like he's lost soul control. Rising shots as well, we can live without that. Low lofted pass. Again, they've taken low lofted pass away. What we gained? Through passing. Okay, that's a good addition. Penalty specialist. Nah. Fighting spirit, of course. How has he not already got fighting spirit? Surely Granit Xhaka's got fighting spirit. Apparently not. So yeah, it's just another one of these orchestrators where you got the passing, a couple of shooting skills, quite a few skills going forward, but nothing really defensively. It's a bit of a shame. No interception, man marking blocker. So yeah, I wouldn't personally use this guy as a DMF. Very aggressive, engagement's decent, but the defensive awareness and tackling aren't great as a DMF, and he doesn't have any defensive skills. I think you're definitely going to want to push this guy a bit further forward as a CMF. He's not amazing on the ball, but it could be worse, but the passing is nice. Bit more pace than normal, some serious kicking power behind his shots. And he's got a couple of shooting skills there. Finishing actually is not great though, so he's not got an amazing shot on him. Good physical strength, that's been boosted a bit, I think. Not great balance though. Yeah, pros and cons with this guy. There's a few attributes there you'd probably want to be a bit higher. You'd probably want a few defensive skills as well, especially if you want to use him as a DMF. But there are some qualities. Primarily, if you're playing as a CMF, I think you get the most value out of this guy as a CMF a bit higher up the pitch, as long as you've got at least one other midfielder helping him out with the defensive work, some kind of destroyer or anchorman or something like that behind him. So yeah, in a few ways could be better, but he's got some strengths. It's a good solid version of Xhaka overall. If you like the guy, if you're a fan of the team he plays for, or someone he's played for before, Leverkusen, Arsenal, etc., then yeah, it could be a solid one for you to have, a fun one for you to have. You got the English League Challenge, unwavering form, plenty to be said for him, but there's a few attributes, like I say, and a few missing skills where he could be a little bit lacking for some people. So yeah, he's not going to be an amazing card for a lot of people, but certainly there are qualities there. For some people, it could be a handy one to have. Next we've got Théo. So as with Rúben Neves, is he going to get live update now that the Saudi League's getting live update? Because this isn't a Saudi League card. He's not got his club for some reason. That's a big question. But he's got a face scan. He's an attacking fullback. They've changed him from fullback finisher. That for me is a big upgrade. It's a personal preference. You might prefer a fullback finisher. I prefer attacking fullback because they don't go walkabout as much. A fullback finisher goes drifting right up into the middle. They'll go right up as far as the attack at times. Attacking fullback will just go up and down the left flank. I much prefer that. But yeah, it's looking like a good Théo card. We've had a lot of Théo cards obviously while he was at AC Milan. This is one of the highest rated player of the week cards. It's the highest rated attacking fullback version that I can see. Is that a Showtime card that's better, obviously? But if you look at his better highlight cards, a lot of his highlight cards tend to be a bit higher rated than this one, but that mainly comes from having insane speed and stamina. Outside of that, we got a bit more in some areas on this card, especially his passing compared to most of his highlight cards. I'd say this is one of the better versions of Théo, just in terms of how well balanced it is. Yes, he's not quite as high rated as a lot of other versions, but that, like I say, that mainly comes from speed and stamina. You've still got enough speed and stamina on this card, and you've got a bit more in a bunch of other areas. So this is looking like a good version of Théo. The way they've boosted him for his GP card, you won't be too surprised to hear that he's lost a bit of speed. They always do that for fullbacks. Gained a bit of acceleration though, gained some physical contact and balance, lost a bit of stamina, but again, he's still got enough there. They boosted his engagement and his aggression, but not his tackling or awareness. It's a bit of a shame. Pretty much the entire left column's been boosted as well. So yeah, he does lack a bit some of his stats down the left quite often. This for me, like I say, is a nice looking version of him. Less kind of attributes that are a bit on the low side compared to normal. There's always one or two things where I kind of wish it'd be a bit higher, but he's kind of got enough of most things really. He's still a bit lacking with the awareness and tackling. But yeah, overall, it's a nice, well-balanced version of Théo. Looking at the skills, again, we've had a nice boost here. So we've lost scissors, feint, knuckle shot, dipping shot, and gamesmanship. I don't think we desperately need those skills on a fullback. What we've gained is one-touch pass, outside curler, man marking and interception. So man marking and interception, he desperately needed those skills as a fullback. He doesn't have those defensive skills normally. And having one touch pass and outside curl as well, two handy ones. We've already got through passing, we've already got pinpoint crossing. Got a really nice set of skills for an attacking fullback here, going forward with his passing and crossing, and now defensively as well. And like I say, he might have the insane speed and stamina that he normally does, but he's had a boost in a bunch of other areas. Yes, he's still not brilliant defensively. And you could argue maybe he could do with a bit more balance, maybe a bit more low pass if you want to be greedy. But on the whole, I think in terms of the stats and the skills and just the overall ability, this is a very nice version of Théo with a playing style that probably suits a lot of people better than fullback finisher. Not everyone, but a lot of people. But like I say though, he's not got club affiliation, so you can only use him in divisions or a national team challenge. And it's not clear if he's going to get live update, even though they've said that Saudi League players are going to get live update now. He's not got his Saudi League affiliation for some reason. So, yeah, 1 or 2 slight negatives with him. The playing style may or may not be an upgrade for you. But overall, it's a good version of Théo. Statistically not the best, but it's a well-balanced version. Nice changes to the skills. I think for a fair few people, it'll be a nice left-back option to have. And now Joshua Kimmich is finally in Player of the Week. We've waited so long for the 50th version of Kimmich in Player of the Week. So yeah, got a face scan. He's a right back again. He plays right back a lot for Germany and Bayern quite a bit as well. Attacking fullback, normally an orchestrator. Weaker foot usage has gone up because he scored with his left foot. I'm not sure he deserves to be in Player of the Week, to be honest. He did all right against Luxembourg and Northern Ireland. No disrespect to Luxembourg and Northern Ireland, but there's an all right performance against one or both of those teams getting in Player of the Week. I don't know. It's not the highest rated version of Kimmich as a right back, but it's one of the quickest. We've had a whole bunch of Kimmich cards up to this point. Obviously, Bayern were a partner club for so long. They had loads of Player of the Week cards. Like I say, this is about the quickest right back version we've had from Player of the Week of Kimmich. He's not so great as a midfielder. The other version of Kimmich, both in Player of the Week and highlight cards, tend to be better as a midfielder. So we're looking at this card primarily as a right back, really, compared to other Kimmich cards. Like I say, is he quick enough as a right back? Maybe, maybe not. Probably a bit slow for most people, but quicker than he has been on most previous versions. Certainly quicker than previous Player of the Week right backs, I would say. One booster, similar, but yeah, you look at the highlights of Kimmich, most of them are better as a midfielder. As a right back, he struggled to find the pace, except for his legend card and Showtime card. Although there was one in a nominating contract pack, 100 caps one, 100 cap elites, I think it was called. Not far off, to be honest. He's not quite as quick, but overall, he's not too far off with the pace, and overall pretty comparable, really. From his GP card, they've nerfed his defending a bit. His passing has been boosted a little bit, but it's obviously a different profile. They've changed his position from his GP card. Hard to really compare directly, but I do think in general, even though he can still certainly do a pretty nice job in midfield, you've got a Kimmich card that you're going to be looking at primarily as a right back. Most of us have a Kimmich card by now, in which case most of us have got one that's better as a midfielder, but certainly as a right back he's looking decent. It's just whether or not that pace is enough for you. For me, it's not quite enough. 84. If you've got an 89 rated manager, you're at least going +3, so you get to 87 on both, so you won't be slow, but I think most people would like a bit more pace in a fullback. But to give him his dues, though, just about everything else is looking nice for a fullback. I don't think you can really ask for much more elsewhere. Nothing. I don't think there's a single attribute here that's low, really, for a fullback. It's just that pace. So yeah, it does look like a solid fullback. It's just whether he's got the pace for you. But and there's no club challenge, no league challenge. He's not got his Bayern affiliation at all. I just noticed that, actually. Why has he not got the fake Bayern club? That's interesting. So. Yeah, I know Bayern aren't a partner club anymore, but I thought there was a fake Bayern. What's going on there? Interesting. But yeah, we've got unwavering form at least, so if you get the national team challenge, or if you're going to use them in divisions, then you've got unwavering form. Let's have a look at the skills. We've lost chip shot control, weighted pass, that's a bit of a shame. Sliding tackle, but we've gained first time shot, penalty specialist, and blocker. Okay, so blocker at least is a good one. So yeah, maybe it's not the best trade on the skills. Obviously, if he scores a penalty and scores with a first time shot, then you can't complain based on making it accurate and on all the rest. But just in terms of how good the card is, blocker's the only one really good when we've gained down. We've lost weighted pass and sliding tackle. So overall, not a great trade, but blocker is a nice addition. Certainly if you play him as a right back. Interception he's already got, and fighting spirit. And then going forward, obviously his passing and his crossing, a couple of shooting skills as well. Yeah, he's pretty good as a fullback. He's pretty good. It's obviously, like I say, one of the better versions of Kimmich as a fullback. Certainly one of the quickest versions as a fullback. But it's just a question of whether he's quick enough, because he still probably isn't for most people. But you can still use him in midfield. He can certainly do a job with as a DMF and as a CMF. But he won't be as good as most versions of Kimmich as a midfielder. And most of us have one of those versions of him already, given how many versions we've had already, including a bunch of free ones and nominated contract ones. So yeah, is it a good version of Kimmich? Yes, primarily as a right back. Is he good enough as a right back? For most people, probably not quite quick enough, but I think for a fair few people, he'll still be able to do a very nice job. I've used the version I've got up one of the previous Player of the Week right back versions. It's not as quick as this one. He's been fine as a right back for me. He's done all right, but yeah, it's not going to be for everyone primarily because of that pace, but there's plenty of qualities there. Some pretty good skills there. But yeah, the lack of a live update, lack of kind of challenges you can use him will go against him. So it's not going to be for everyone this card. I don't think many people particularly needed another Player of the Week Kimmich card, but it's another good one. So there will be some people who certainly get some value out of this card. And we finish up with Cody Gakpo, who is a creative playmaker. Normally a prolific winger, they change him to a creative playmaker. They've also made him fully proficient as an SS, which is interesting because that's not the position I've given him. But he is fully proficient as an SS this time. Whether his passing is good enough to play as an SS, that's up to you. I would say probably not. He's got a booster, and it is... Ooh, what's this going to be called? End product? Low pass, lofted pass, finishing, kicking power. Accuracy, close enough. It's got a face scan, of course. So yeah, we've got the accuracy booster, which is pretty much end product. It's got unwavering form. You can use him in the English Sheet Challenge, of course. In terms of overall ability, he's about as good as any of his Player of the Week cards, either wide left or as a striker. But the stats are kind of shuffled around a bit. There's been at least one previously with better passing, so maybe SS is not the best, but certainly in terms of overall ability, he's about as good as any of his Player of the Week cards. If you look at his highlight cards, he's around about the same level as a left winger, but his highlights tend to be a little bit better on the ball, whereas this one's got slightly better passing than most of his highlight cards. He's not quite so comparable as a centre forward, to be honest. If you compare him to his better highlight cards as a striker, that's primarily the awareness and finishing. Just can't you tend to get one or both those a bit higher on his better highlight cards as a striker. He has a Showtime card as well, to be honest. This is actually around about the same level as Showtime card. It's not a lot of difference. I'm guessing that's quite an old Showtime card now. Certainly as a left winger. The Showtime can be a bit better as a striker because his finishing is a bunch higher. So yeah, on the whole, not the best Gakpo card, but it's a good one. It's a pretty good solid one. Different playing style, which may or may not suit you. They boosted his end product a bit from his GP card, and he's got that booster that boosts it even more as well. He's boosted his speed, his kicking power, a nice boost on his physical contact, bit on his balance and stamina. Of course, there's a few points in his defending. Yeah, it's looking like a solid Gakpo card on the whole, to be honest. Let's quickly look at his skills. We've lost Scissors Feint again. Poor Scissors Feint. We always lose Scissors Feint. Imagine if there's anyone in the player base who really likes doing Scissors Feint, you must hate Player of the Week. But yeah, we've lost Scissors Feint again. We've lost Marseille Turn. We've lost Dipping Shot, and we've lost Weighted Pass. That's a bit of a shame. But we've gained Long Range Shooting. We've gained Outside Curler, Penalty Specialist. Did you score a penalty from long range? I guess he scored more than one goal. And Fighting Spirit, of course. So yeah, got a couple of shooting skills. Got through passing, which will improve his passing, which isn't amazing. Depends where you're using it, to be fair. It's not too bad for a winger. Yeah, on the whole, a pretty good selection of skills there. I certainly don't think he's going to be great as a centre forward. He's not quite got the awareness or finishing for me, but they're not terrible on A form at least. When he's not on A form, the finishing will be lacking for me. But on A form, at a stretch, you could put him up front. Pace, very good on the ball for a striker. Decent passing. Yeah, you could get away with him as a striker on A form certainly, albeit it's lacking first time shot. SS, I don't know if the passing is good enough, but it's not too bad. You could get away with it certainly. But wide left, pace, pretty decent on the ball. The passing's not too bad at all. Finishing's very nice. The awareness and finishing for wide man, pretty nice. Yeah, coming off that left wing, long range curl on long range shooting can be pretty handy. But it's another one of these cards though where it looks like he's going to be more about his scoring goals than creating goals. Yet they've made him a creative playmaker. So is that the playmaker you want for what he's going to be good at? For me personally, probably not. I know I've said it many times before. I don't like playmakers out wide because they're just not very aggressive with their forward runs, but that's just personal preference. But yeah, if that playing style works for you, creative playmaker, it could be a very handy one off that left wing. Could do with a bit more balance actually. That's one attribute that is a bit on the low side. That's probably the one attribute where he's a bit lacking. But all things considered, with the ability he's got, I think arguably as a striker or an SS for some people could be handy through the middle, but certainly wide left. Lots of strengths there. Pretty good selection skills. Can be pretty handy. It might just come down to that playing style, whether it works for you. But yeah, all things considered, for the English Sheet Challenge, could be a handy one. Somewhat versatile. And on the whole, yeah, it could be a very handy card to have for quite a few people. It's certainly Liverpool fans will be very pleased to pick up. It's a solid version of Gakpo. So there's your Player of the Week pack. I think it's kind of all right. I don't think it's the most exciting. I don't think anyone really needed another Player of the Week Kimmich card. It's a solid Gakpo, but not the most exciting. Certainly a pretty good card though on the whole. The Xhaka card, lacking in a few ways, but could be handy for some people. Théo, not a Milan player anymore, can't use in the Italian League Challenge. Is he going to get live update or not? I don't know. Apart from that, those stats, the playing style, the skills, looking pretty good. Good attack and left back. Kenan Yıldız, another good Kenan Yıldız card. We've had a few of them, but it's another good one. Guéhi, solid centre back. Likewise, the Norman. I'd say Guéhi's probably a bit better overall, but there is a question mark over his aerial ability, so maybe pretty similar overall, to be fair. Neves, pretty tidy midfielder. Again, though, are we going to get live update with him? There's a lack of challenges you can use him in, so there's a few things that go against him, even though statistically he does look very, very handy. A solid goalie, not the best arm coverage, but he can certainly do a job for you. Szymański, I like the guy in game. Looks like a really fun card to me. Not going to be for everyone. Certainly the passing is not amazing for any kind of midfielder, but as some kind of forward, wide or through the middle, could be a handy one. I'll definitely give him a try if you pick him up. He could be a fun one for you as well. And then Aubameyang, solid version of Aubameyang. Pretty similar to his previous Player of the Week card. Not quite as good as Showtime that's just been released for division players and stuff, but yeah, he got a whole bunch of cards in there that are decent, could be handy for some people, but it's not exactly a pack that I'm too excited about. There's only really Szymański in there that I particularly want, but I don't even really need him because I've got a nice version. So I don't think it's a pack that's going to excite too many people. Again, we don't get a selection contract because they don't like us to, enjoy the game or spend coins, apparently. But yeah, there's certainly some decent ones in there. A fair few people, I think, will be able to pick up a pretty decent card at least, hopefully. So yeah, let me know what you think. Be interested to know your thoughts on the pack. Let me know who you want to spin, who you've spun. And thank you for watching. As always, do appreciate it. I'll be doing a stream at some point today. And maybe some multi-pack reviews in the near future as well. Struggling for time as always, but I'll try and get 1 or 2 videos out in the near future and maybe do 1 or 2 streams as well. But certainly today there'll be a stream. So hopefully see you for that. Hopefully see you in the Discord. Jump into the Discord if you're not already there. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Much appreciated as always. Have a fantastic end of your week and weekend, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Take it easy.